Hey guys, Happy New Year! I have been on holiday in Germany. It was very cold. Good to be back in the hot and humid Malaysia. Update on the Green Man tiny home. This is up there, a sloping roof. The water comes down there and runs through the system here. Adam is the guy who has done it. Maybe you can show just quickly what we have there. We have a filtration system. In there is a ceramic filter on the top, and then on the bottom here we have the charcoal and some other layers to make sure any stuff that's in the water, we filter it out. Whether physical stuff or other pollutants we'll get rid of. We will test it, then hopefully it will be drinking water quality. Let me show you around. The design is coming along of the home. Up on the roof, 65 watt bent solar system from our partner Suncrox. Here we have the lead acid battery. It would have been even better to have a lithium battery, but much more expensive, so we're trying to keep the costs limited. We have the charge controller over there. We have the cables here. This is the furniture coming along, kitchen cabinets, most of it made from recycled wood and covered by our green carpenter Harriet with water-based treatment. And there is the bed now, guys. My bed is finally here. This was little booths from an eco exhibition in KL. We recovered the wood. Now it's been turned into my bed.
Welcome back to Global Village. Tonight's topic is Green Talks with none other than the Green Man himself, Matthias Gelber. Welcome back, Matthias, to our third and final segment. Nice video about this sustainable eco home. But let me ask you this: a lot of nice ideas. I mean, it's cute. It's a feel-good concept. But how practical is this really in the real world? Because the way we consume things, the way we live. I mean, okay, you're getting rainwater and filtering it. It's nice, but I mean, is it really? How can this ideal, quirky, funny solutions really help us in our daily lives when we actually need so much more?
This tiny home that I built in Malaysia was designed for the bachelor lifestyle. That's why now I definitely need a bigger space. We actually built a bigger home with a pull-down bed where the living room is much bigger because you have the bed on the wall. But the rainwater harvesting and the solar is quite realistic, because we designed it to be drinking water quality. So you can actually get all your water needs from that system.
Yes.
The only problem is when you want to have drinking water quality guaranteed certified, you need a couple of filters, and it gets a little bit expensive. But in Malaysia, this concept will be used for some eco resorts.
Yes.
That are remote off-grid. There are a lot of locations in the Philippines where you don't have a energy supply infrastructure. There, this concept could potentially be very powerful.
I like the word you mentioned, off-grid.
Yeah.
Off-grid means really disconnected from main water, power, utilities basically, and generating all of that on your own.
Yes.
Now, this is a dream. This is my dream. I want to live off-grid.
Yes.
But how realistic is it? I mean, like, given our energy needs, our water needs, is it realistic?
You know, the biggest energy need in the normal Filipino household comes from aircon. Traditionally, in the Philippines and in Malaysia 100 years ago, we built homes that were cool at night without the need for aircon, because we built homes appropriate to the local climate. If you have an insulated envelope and air circulation where the hot air can rise up and move, then you don't need aircon at night. So I would say nighttime, 50 to 80% of the electricity consumed in this country is air conditioning.
Definitely.
Most people in the Philippines in urban settings have high electricity bills because in this country electricity is much more expensive than the rest of Southeast Asia. So this is the best way to start your eco campaign. Cut down on your air conditioning and your electricity bill. This is what I did in Malaysia, and this is what we have done here as well. We are shifting from aircon. When you have a baby daughter at the beginning, you might need a little bit of aircon, to fan.
Yes.
The last few weeks we have slept with the fan at night, not with the aircon on at night. And suddenly your bill massively drops down. But the tiny eco home was designed in line with the Bahay Kubo and the Malay Kampung house climate appropriate, or we call it, my architect called it bioclimatic design.
Nice.
We
nice.
designed a house that doesn't require aircon. People come inside of the house, they say, wow, how come it's so cool, much cooler inside of the house? This is a question of air circulation and insulation.
I want to meet your architect.
Yeah.
I mean, no, but kidding aside, really, I think it is all about lifestyle change, and it
Yes.
really begins by changing the way we think.
Yes.
And even, as you said, building from everything, from building, designing a home,
Yeah.
making sure you work with the environmental realities.
Yes.
It's warm here, so there you go.
And actually, sleeping without aircon is much healthier.
I've read
Ask
that.
doctors
yes.
where a lot of the bacteria comes from.
Yes.
You know, and if kids are used to air conditioning, you know, there's a lot of people that have respiratory diseases. Where does it come from? So we actually need to go back to basics. We need to ask ourselves, you know, how did our forefathers live? I'm not saying everybody should go back to the province barangay lifestyle, but some of it, you know, were people maybe a little bit happier in those days when they were living in tune with Mother Nature, when their life was not obsessed with gadgets and the
think
latest
so.
things?
I think
Now
so.
people, you know, think they need to buy all these things to get social recognition. And they are jumping from one thing to the other. We have been brainwashed by the idea of consumption.
Absolutely.
Less is more. A basic, simple lifestyle, I think, can lead to more happiness.
Absolutely.
And I'm arguing that even we can do it in an urban setting. One funny thing that happened when I had the tiny home built in Malaysia, suddenly people with prime land were offering me, keep your tiny home here. We were at an exhibition next to the KLCC Twin Towers. It's called Craft Malaysia. They said, Matthias, we want to have your tiny home here. We offer you free. You know, this land would usually cost a lot of money.
For sure, it's prime.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can actually have a mobile lifestyle with that tiny home because it's mobile. You know, if you're bored of the city life, you can go to a coastal area, live on the beach, and move your home with you. It's a new way of thinking. It's quite realistic.
Very good. And I think, let's segue to your book.
Yes.
It's called The Green Man's Guide to Green Living and Working. And by the title, it sounds like this is really the handbook.
Yes.
One's handbook, personal handbook to how one can live the life that
Yes.
you just mentioned.
I am focusing on things that you have control over and influence on. Your life, your family, your home, your community, the office that you're working in, the organization that you're working for, and the business or organization that you might control if you're the owner or the manager. What can you do within your control and influence to lower the environmental impact and enhance the positive environmental contribution? On a business front,
Yes.
less waste is more profit.
Of course.
Innovative, eco-friendly products can reach out to additional customers. So what is the opportunity in going green for your health, for your future, for your budget, for your business?
Are you optimistic about the future? Let's say, I mean, given what you've seen in Southeast Asia, you were in Malaysia for a long time, now in the Philippines, and you know, when you're in this country, which is very congested and very, I would say, overpopulated,
Yeah.
it seems like, you know, a huge, you know, overwhelming challenge
Yes,
to just
yes.
get this message across. Are you
Yes.
optimistic about what you're seeing?
I have mixed feelings. I feel we have lost a whole generation because I see people spending their weekends in the malls, spending their money immediately for things. People have become slaves of the consumption society.
Absolutely.
So that is one big problem. We need to create a whole new philosophy for a new generation that lives in a sustainable way. Stephen Hawking, the famous British scientist, has given humanity another 100 years on this planet. This is the challenge. Actually, we are not talking about saving the planet, we are talking about saving our future generations.
Yes.
The human race, the planet will survive. Maybe the planet will
In a
get
different
rid
form,
of the
yes.
human race.
Yes.
You know, where have the dinosaurs gone?
There
You know,
you go.
maybe they became a problem for the planet. The planet will survive. Maybe in 10,000 years they find a layer of plastic. That was the contribution of our civilization.
These are our fossils.
Yes.
Our fossils
So-
from our generation.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I am still hopeful. I'm still an optimist. That's why I'm going out there and, you know, basically campaigning for greener lifestyles, greener businesses. That's why I'm giving talks here, there, and everywhere because I believe in a sustainable future. I'm a dad now. I have a daughter that is
Yes.
6 months old. I have more responsibility to do something for the future of the planet than even before when I was a
Yes.
bachelor. And this is really the challenge for us. And this is the question I want to ask each and every one. Are you healing the planet or are you damaging? Are you a benefit or are you a burden? Is your bank account with Mother Nature in the black or in the red? If you're on the wrong side, it's time for you to change.
Yes.
Because you are contributing to a deterioration of the future survivability of your grandchildren.
For sure, and I think that the challenge really is making people, the problem with issues like this is that unless people are affected directly,
Yes.
they think, it's something in their back, in their subconscious, they keep it, somewhere, they don't think about it, it's not,
Yes.
it's not in their consciousness until it affects you
Yes.
directly and personally.
Yeah, and the Philippines is one of the top countries at risk from climate change. But at the same time, I see a lot of health problems in the Philippines. A lot of problems coming from the pollution that we have in our water, in our food, and especially in our very bad air quality on the roads out there. So it is affecting our health. We need to look at it as a survival issue. This is not just the survival of the planet, this is survival of our legacy.
Yes.
If we don't act now, the chances for our grandchildren and their legacy is getting smaller and smaller for the human species to survive on planet Earth.
How about the leadership of this country, the policies? Do you think, are you optimistic that, are the right policies in place? What policies would you like to see in place, if any, to help us along this route?
We need a very radical shift from fossil fuel-based energy supply. We need to phase out coal-fired power plants as soon as possible. The cost of renewables is already at a level where this becomes affordable. Some people are predicting that coal-fired power plants will become a liability in 10 years' time. Same will happen with nuclear power.
Yes.
I think the focus should be on energy efficiency. There's huge potential for energy efficiency, which hasn't been tapped into a lot of office buildings, in a lot of government buildings, schools. There are a lot of high electricity bills that we could reduce with behavioral change. The policies in terms of protection of the environment are quite good in the Philippines. The problem is lack of enforcement.
There you go.
Enforcement is one of the key critical issues that is not efficiently done. In my barangay, there is still open burning. It's very difficult to get that effectively enforced. So enforcement is critical. We need to weed out corruption. Corruption can often lead to deforestation, to pollution, to chopping down of mangrove trees for charcoal, even though it's not allowed.
Yes.
And then, the clams and that were there before all disappears. Landslides might happen because people have chopped illegally forest areas. These are all issues where we need effective enforcement, and we need to think long term. But this is as well a question for us, the voters,
yes,
and our behavior as consumer. We need to change our consumer behavior. We need to include green issues in our voter behavior. There's a lot of people concerned in the Philippines. That is what I love. I see a lot of people on the ground. There's a big Laudato Si movement.
Yes.
The Philippines has made great contributions to the COP climate change meetings over the years. A lot of Filipinos have stood up. So there is a groundswell there, and Filipinos are great communicators.
Yes.
I think the Philippines could become a model country if we get it right in local practice, economical change, shifting towards a sustainable economy, and then having Filipinos communicate and articulate and inspire people in other parts of the world. The whole world is asking Filipinos to come and help them with jobs that are linked to customer service and communication.
There you go. Yes.
Filipinos could be part of the revolution globally.
Wow. Bravo. What you said there really was what all of us can do as private citizens, and consumers to help in this endeavor, no? Matthias, so much to talk about. I want to talk about your book much further. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show. Would you like to say something to the audience before we go?
We can be the change. You can be the change. Ask yourself whether your life is healing, is a benefit to the planet, or a burden. In small things, we can do it. When I wrote my book, people told me, you can't make it green, it's going to be too expensive. I used recycled paper, I used vegetable ink, I make it climate neutral, and it cost me less than 10% extra. Green is the future. Unless we all go green, there is no future anymore for your grandchildren.
Very good. Matthias, thank you so much for coming all the way here to GNN in Makati from your home in San Pablo. And I'm sure our viewers watching now have learned so much from you and were very inspired by your talk. And no wonder you're a motivational speaker.
My pleasure, buddy.
Yes.
And we came by bus.
There you go.
We used the bus, public transport.
Bravo, bravo. Very good.
Cheers.
Thank you. And keep up with the good work. You guys are my heroes. Thank you. So guys, I hope you enjoyed our show tonight on Green Talks with none other than the Green Man himself, Matthias Gelber. Join us again next week here on Global Village and let us take you around the world. Till then, you all have a good evening. Happy holidays.